Okay, let's just dive right in. Something huge is happening in the startup world, and the clue is coming from inside one of the biggest AI labs out there. You know the AI we all use every day? Well, get this. They're starting to build the next version of it with another AI. And this isn't some side project. No, this is a whole new blueprint for how to build a company.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. So what does that actually mean? Well, the folks at Anthropic, they aren't just using AI like you'd use, say, a calculator. They've made it a full-blown coworker. The humans are like the managers, right? They set the big picture strategy. But then they basically unleash these swarms of AI instances to do the real work, writing the code, building the features, all of it. This goes way beyond a simple productivity hack. We're talking about a totally new way to build a company right from the very beginning.
And this really points to a massive shift that's happening as we speak. You see, the best teams out there, they're not just automating one little thing like coding or customer service. Nope, they're automating all of it. We're talking marketing, sales, even hiring. You name it, they're automating it. It's all about using automation on the inside to get this insane amount of leverage.
So this new way of doing things, this model of just radical, crazy efficiency, it needs a name, right? Something that really captures just how powerful it is. Well, the people pioneering this have come up with one, and they're calling it the 20X company. So what is a 20X company? Here's the core idea. It's a super lean, super agile startup that can punch way, way above its weight. Think David versus Goliath. They can take on these giant established companies because every single person on their team is supercharged by internal AI. Their small size, which you'd think is a disadvantage, actually becomes their biggest superpower. Now, some of you might have heard of this idea called the compound startup. You know, the one where a company builds a bunch of different products all at once? Well, you can think of the 20X company as the next evolution of that. But here's the twist. Instead of building multiple external products for customers, they're building multiple internal automations for themselves. The focus shifts from finding product market fit out in the world to building insane operational leverage on the inside. Okay, so how do they actually pull this off? It's a great question. We're seeing three main strategies start to pop up. So let's break down the first one. We'll call it the AI teammate. And to do that, we're going to look at the company that actually came up with the name 20X in the first place. So say hello to Giga ML. This is a tiny team. We're talking like 5 engineers. And what they do is build these complex voice-based AI agents for massive companies. The catch? They were competing against industry giants that had, you guessed it, literally 20 times more people than they did. And this is exactly where the name came from. They looked around and realized, hey, we're consistently winning against these huge players. They were landing massive clients like DoorDash, not by hiring more people, but by having a smarter, way more automated system. So what was their secret weapon? It's an internal AI agent they built called Atlas. And Atlas isn't just a tool. It's a genuine digital coworker. It can do things like browse the internet, update product policies, and even write code. It basically handles all the tedious boilerplate stuff that would normally slow their engineers down to a crawl. The result? Every single engineer can suddenly do the work of 2, maybe even 3 people. And this next part just perfectly shows the kind of leverage we're talking about. So to manage this Atlas system and handle clients like DoorDash and dozens of other Fortune 500s, how many people do you think it takes? Just one. That's it. One single person partners up with Atlas. They handle the human side, the customer relationships, while the AI does all the technical heavy lifting. It's incredible. All right, let's move on to strategy number 2. So if the first strategy was about giving each employee an AI sidekick, this one is about giving the entire company a single shared brain, an AI-powered brain. The whole goal here is to create one central source of truth for everyone. And a perfect example of this is a company called Legion Health. They run a psychiatry network, and they built this custom internal system that is, for all intents and purposes, their unified brain. It pulls together everything their small ops team needs instantly. Patient info, schedules, confusing insurance stuff, all of it is right there in one place. It just cuts through all the data chaos you normally see in healthcare. And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. This unified brain let them quadruple their revenue in a single year. Get this, without hiring a single new person for their operations team. I mean, that's just a staggering level of efficiency. Think about it. In a normal healthcare company, you've got entire departments for clinical support, for patient support, for billing. Sometimes these are massive call centers. But at Legion, because of this system,
Each one of those departments is literally just one person. That's the power of having a single unified brain. Okay, on to our third and final strategy. And this one kind of flips the script a little bit. So instead of one giant brain for the whole company, this approach is more personal. It's about creating a culture where you build tiny, custom AI helpers for every single employee, designed to automate their own specific annoying tasks. Let's look at a company called Phase Shift. It's a team of about 12 people, and they're building tools to automate accounting tasks. And again, they're going up against these huge, established companies that have been around forever and have hundreds of employees. So how do they keep up? Their secret is just this relentless, almost obsessive focus on automating every single manual process they can find. And their process for this is it's so simple, it's brilliant. Step 1, they just ask their employees to write down all the manual stuff they do all day. You know, the copy-pasting, the data entry, all that jazz. Step 2, the engineering team swoops in and builds a quick little AI agent to do that task for them. And they just do this over and over. It's a constant hunt to find and destroy manual work. And the impact of this culture is huge. The founder mentioned that even with 12 people, they still haven't had to hire a full-time designer. Why? Because their engineers just use AI tools to handle all the front-end design. Think about that. They can completely skip hiring for an entire role, which lets them stay super, super lean.
So when you take all three of these ideas and put them together, you've got the AI teammate, the unified company brain, and this culture of personal little automators. What you end up with is a really powerful new philosophy for how to build a company today.
This is it. This is the playbook for a 20x company. It's about building those AI teammates like Atlas. It's about creating that single source of truth, that unified brain, like Legion did. And it's about empowering every single person with their own personal automators, just like Phase Shift. And hey, you don't have to pick just one. The best companies will probably end up mixing and matching all three. At the end of the day, what this all boils down to is a new rule for the startup game. It used to be all about moving fast and having a huge team. Not anymore. Today, being lean, that's the new superpower.
And I want to be clear, this isn't just some passing fad. This is a deep, fundamental shift in what it takes to win in business. The startups that figure this out first, the ones that really embrace this idea of radical automation, they're not just building a product, they're building a truly unstoppable competitive advantage. This is what the next decade is going to look like.
So that leaves me with a final question for you to think about. It doesn't matter if you're at a tiny startup or a giant corporation. Just take a look at your own day-to-day work. What is that one annoying, repetitive thing you do that you could automate to win back your day and unlock your team's real potential?